we're good to go.
Okay, let me get this to the slide I want it to be. Here we go. Let's go Discord. Screen. Um. Okay, can you see this?
Hmm.
Okay. Then we are ready to go for our week 6 results. So, let's see. Okay, I'll do a presentation real quick. Okay, oh, I gotta go through this quick. Okay, so for our week 6 results. First game, Commanders Bears. Commanders beat the Bears, not too surprising. Both of us were correct on this one. So I went 1-0, you went 1-0, both the net score of 1-1. And watching this game, it was not the greatest game to watch. But you know what? It was okay.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot to that game. We kind of knew it wasn't gonna be great.
Yeah. Next game, 49ers Falcons. Now I really wish I had gone Falcons because I know this was one of the upset games I was thinking about. And I mean, 49ers just did not play very good. Falcons played as the Falcons play, surprisingly good or surprisingly bad. There's really no in between with them. Especially when they had the lead for most of the game, somehow they didn't blow it. But so it'll be interesting to see both these teams play this week.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I don't really have much for that game either. I should have picked the Falcons, but it is what it
I
is.
wish I had, because I felt that they might upset, but we'll see. Let's see. Both of us were wrong. 1-1, sitting at 1 point. Next one, Patriots Browns. I think we both just knew the Patriots were gonna play better than the Browns. We were the only two who picked them, so I'd say it's pretty simple why we went with this one, and I think we're both happy they won.
Yeah.
See, both of us picked it. Both of us got 2-1, 3 points, score 4. Jets Packers, our other upset one. Dude, I'm so happy the Jets beat the Packers.
Yeah, I think the
Oh,
Jets are gonna win again this week.
I think so, especially with Russell Wilson out.
Yeah,
But
they're gonna win this week. I got a good feeling.
oh yeah, but yeah. So both got that right. Oh, there's our scores. I won't go over it in depth each time. Next one, Jaguars Colts. Now this was a bit of a surprise. I kind of wish I had gone Colts. I felt the Colts might be able to upset the Jaguars after their last win, but and somehow Colts are now ahead of the Jaguars. But you know what? For this division, I think just about every week there's going to be a division leader change, just because of how inconsistent every team is.
Yeah, I think you're right. That division's like a dumpster fire right now.
I know people were saying we could see an 8-9 team that makes the playoff, or even a 7-10 team that makes the playoff from this division. And
Oh yeah,
I don't think that's incorrect for sure.
I think it's gonna happen. I think we're gonna see a team that probably shouldn't be in the playoffs be in the playoffs just based off record. But
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. Both of us got that one wrong. No points. Vikings, Dolphins, and I was afraid the Dolphins were gonna win this one. Watching it, it was a pretty good game to watch. Luckily, the Vikings came out, and the Dolphins at what they went 3-0 and then 0-3. But without Tua, they just haven't been as good, and maybe people figured them out.
yeah, without Tua, the Dolphins aren't super great, just honestly. But
Yeah.
that Vikings team, they're really good. Like
They are
they're
really good.
so good right now. If Justin
Well, and
Jefferson can stay healthy, they're gonna be fine.
I know. I think OBJ could go to the Vikings. Like if I were him and I wanted to win, I think Vikings are a good place to go right now. If they're willing to sign you and you'd have to accept whatever they're willing to pay you, but Vikings are probably taking the division. And saying they don't have a chance, the NFC is not that strong this year. The AFC's got all the power right now. Um, so I don't think like there's gonna be one team in the NFC where you're like, yeah, that team, that's the team that to beat. Right now, the Bills in the AFC are the team to beat, but then the Chiefs are also the team to beat. In the NFC, the Rams aren't exactly the team to beat because they're beatable. The 49ers are not the team to beat because they're beatable. The Eagles are the team to beat, but it's also the Eagles, and I don't think they've played a top talent yet to see if they are that great of a team. I mean, they're a good team. They're a really good team. But whether or not they're the team, because plenty of good teams that played good through the season have lost. So I think the Vikings have a chance, especially with this win here.
Yeah, I think the Vikings are probably, like, if I had to, I don't know, this is early, but I think they've got a great chance to make a deep playoff run.
I
Just
do think
honestly.
right now the thing that is holding the Vikings back would probably be Kirk Cousins. And I wouldn't say he's holding them back, like he's the reason they're not doing as good as they could, or he's not the reason like they're losing, but he definitely has plays where it will change the game. If you look at that Vikings Eagles game, he threw a lot of interceptions because he underthrew wide receivers or maybe took a risky pass. And I think if he cleaned up his game a little bit on those things, he could be a much better QB and the Vikings could be in a very good spot. But I do think that's a limiting factor for the Vikings right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we both got this right. Both doing decent. Let's see. Bengals at Saints. Picked the Bengals, and it was a pretty close game. I really didn't watch much of this one. I had Red Zone on, so I didn't get too many clips. I know Taysom Hill, I think, had a decent game, but
Yeah, I think he's
it
been
was
getting
close.
a bunch of red zone touches in the backfield and running them in.
I'm surprised he's listed as tight end when at this point he's running back.
Yeah, it's like every season it changes. It's like
Yeah.
tight end, then quarterback, and now he's a running back. It's
Oh
like,
yeah.
make a
And
decision.
I think they might put Taysom Hill in on a Hail Mary if like on defense. Like
Oh
I
yeah,
could
he's
see
that
them
type
doing
of
that.
guy.
Yeah. It's kind of like him and Micah Parsons are kind of like just that type of guy who, if you need him to do this, he'll do it.
Yeah.
Let's see their scores. This one was the shocker, and I wish I had gone with the Giants because I'm like, you know what? I think the Giants could have the bit of magic they need to beat the Ravens, but the Ravens are playing pretty good, so I was wrong. So what? The Giants, they're pretty surprising right now.
Yeah, Giants are a good team. The Ravens are really hurting with J.K. Dobbins being out, man.
He's
That's
in IR
killing
now.
them. Yeah, I moved off of him. Perfect timing in fantasy, but uh,
Man, I still have
he's.
him.
I think he's probably. Now it's too early to say that he's gonna be a bust, but I'm gonna be honest. I don't think he's gonna do that great. I think injuries are gonna kill him. I really
Yeah,
do.
worst part is I had Kenyon Drake on my team like 2 weeks ago, but then I
Oh,
dropped him.
oh yeah.
And
Kenyon had a good game. What was that? Was that this game that he had a good game?
this was this game,
Yeah,
and
he
maybe
had like a huge run. It was perfect blocking, but it was a
yeah,
huge run. And
yeah, it'll
now
be
Gus Bus is back this week,
mm-hmm.
so Kenyon won't probably see as much snap share as Gus will, because Gus will probably end up getting a ton of carries.
Honestly, I think the Ravens need to draft a running back first round this year.
Yeah, they've got a. I mean, yeah, with J.K. Dobbins being hurt all the time, and as much as they run, I don't know. They need another receiver too, though. So it's like,
Honestly, had Christian McCaffrey gone to the Ravens,
oh my God, yeah,
that would have changed. Because then they would have had another running back. They would have had a new passing threat, and I mean that would have changed the Ravens
this
for
is
sure.
kind of
And
off
he would.
topic, Well, kind of on topic, but off topic. But did you see that a team offered 2 first-rounders for Brian Burns, and they rejected it?
I saw that.
That's
So that
insane.
must mean they want to keep Brian Burns.
Yeah, they
I,
said they want to keep Brian Burns, DJ Moore, J.C. Horn, and Derek Brown.
I,
All
I
those
would I
guys are
would gr-
safe.
I would agree with those four as well. Um, I knew they wouldn't trade DJ Moore. It's not smart pick on them part. You know, there are some NFL players like if the Cowboys went into and I'm a Cowboys fan, so I'll use them as an example.
Yeah.
If the Cowboys were to go into rebuild mode today, the dumbest decision they'd ever do would be trade Micah Parsons, because you immediately then need to go out and draft a Micah Parsons.
Yeah, you're not gonna
That's
find a
so
Micah
rare.
Parsons. Like,
And this is the
just
same thing with
honestly.
the Panthers. DJ Moore is a really good guy, or is a really good player. If you trade him, you immediately need to go draft somebody to replace him. And it's not like, well, it's like a Larry Fitzgerald situation where, yeah, we're gonna trade you for 2 years, or like OJ Green, or not OJ Green, but like there are just a few players who are like they're a really good player. If they're at the end of their career, yeah, trade them so we can get a draft pick for them. But if they're a young guy, you don't.
Yeah, and DJ Moore's been in the league for I think what 3
I think I want to say 3 years.
Yeah, he's been in the league for 3 years, or 3 or 4, and he's only 25.
Yeah, and you know he's not in a position where he's gonna run out of steam. If he was a running back 3 years in and he hadn't done great, maybe. But wide receiver, yeah. But yeah, we got both of us got this game wrong. 5-3 for both of us. And here we go, Buccaneers at Steelers. I am happy I went with the Steelers. It's terrible that Kenny Pickett got hurt this game, especially for my fantasy team. But yeah, it was a pretty good game. I guess I didn't watch too much of it. I think Buccaneers are probably going to win the division unless the Saints or the Falcons surprise them. But at 3-3, they're tied with the Falcons, and I think they're tied with the Saints. I can't remember what the Saints' record is.
Saints are doing all right. I don't know who's playing this week for them. Well, they already played this week, but
Yeah,
next week I think Winston might be back next week,
yeah.
which
Oh,
will
what is
definitely
it?
help them.
Over here on the Giants, one thing I forgot to mention. I know I had said something about, NFC's East is looking pretty good with the Cowboys, Giants, and Eagles. And someone's like, well, the Giants are never going to make the playoffs. They're not they're a terrible team. I completely disagree with that statement. And I had to go to their schedule. So they play the Jaguars this week. The next week they play the Seahawks, and then they play the Texans. I would say they've got a really good shot of going 3-0 to 2-1 that week.
Yep.
Then they play the Lions, Cowboys. They'll probably lose one of those games, maybe both. If they lose both of those after going 3-0, well, guess what? They're then 8-3. Not bad. But then they would play the Commanders, Eagles, Commanders. They could easily beat the Commanders twice. And they'd probably lose to the Eagles unless the Eagles were in a slump. And every 6-0 team, every NFL team who's doing really hot has a slump. And the question is, when is it going to be?
Yep. You gotta hit that
And if
slump at the right time.
you do, I was talking to someone about that the other day, but if the Giants play the Eagles right in their slump, they could win. They'll beat the Commanders. They might beat the Vikings. That's kind of up in the air. They'll probably beat the Colts and probably lose the Eagles. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 to 5 more losses. So that would have them going 12-5 to 11-6.
I'm just curious when the Eagles are gonna lose, cause they come off bye and they play the Steelers, and I don't think that the Steelers will probably beat them. And then they play the Texans, so it's like, when are they gonna lose?
Well, okay, so you are right. They play the Steelers, they play the Texans, they play the Commanders, they play the Colts, they play the Packers, they play the Titans, they play the Giants, Bears, Cowboys, Saints, Giants. For some reason, I want to say the Packers
I was
could beat
just
them,
looking at that. That's where I think also they might get the loss.
but they're gonna have a slump at some point. And if they have a slump coming out of bye, the Steelers could win. Texans probably won't. The Commanders could get their first win. Colts could get a win. Packers could win, get a win. Titans could win it, get a win. Giants could get a win. I don't think the Bears could beat them. Cowboys could get a win. Saints could get a win, and Giants again could get a win, depending where that slump is. Now, I doubt we're gonna see a perfect season from the Eagles
No, we won't see a
because
perfect season.
because this is the NFL. Anybody can beat anyone. Does not matter how good your team is.
Any given Sunday.
Yes. And so we'll see. So the Eagles are another one. But I do think for the Giants, can you really name off 7 teams at the current moment that you think are championship or playoff contenders? Because Eagles are one, Vikings are one, 49ers are one, and the 49ers are a bit questionable, but if you look at that division's questionable. And then what is it? You got the Vikings. If I didn't say them already, or Buccaneers. So
Buccaneers, yeah.
you got the Eagles winning the division, you got Buccaneers winning the division, you got Vikings winning the division, you got 49ers winning the division. So that's four of the teams. So that's 3 spots. Cardinals and Rams and Seahawks, each one of those 3 teams could maybe sneak in there. Cowboys and Giants, both of those 2 teams could maybe slide or like sneak in there. Packers could possibly sneak into there. What is it? Falcons, Saints, one of the two could, if they turn things around, maybe sneak in there. So like there's maybe 12 teams that could maybe take the 7 slots. But saying the Giants can't do that, I don't see that. Could the Cowboys make it? I think they have just as good of a chance as the Giants actually. Because Giants or Cowboys have a tough schedule. Playing the Lions, if Lions bounce back, they play the Packers. That'll be a tough game. And Titans. I mean, I don't see them losing their whole schedule, but it'll be interesting to see exactly. So there could be 3 NFC East teams this year.
Yep.
I mean, there was 3. Rams, Cardinals, 49ers made the playoffs last year, so it's not impossible. But okay, go back to this. Yeah, so I got this one right. You got this one wrong. So 6-3, 5-4.
Freaking
Let's see,
top, Brady.
Panthers, Ram. Man, I was hoping the Panthers would win this game. After like the start of the game, just kind of like seeing they got that touchdown, I'm like, okay, let's go. And then Rams made a comeback. Granted, it's the Rams playing the Panthers, and the Panthers are not great. And I don't expect much great things from the Panthers. I could definitely see them going 1-16, 2-15, 1-15-1.
They're probably gonna
Uh,
get the number one pick. Like, let's be
You know,
honest.
it's hard not to, and the question is, do they go CJ Stroud? Or,
Shoot, I would after his performance yesterday.
yeah.
I like CJ Stroud.
But the thing is, they would then have to find somewhere to trade both Baker or not both, but either Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold.
So I think
Because,
what Baker's on a 1 year, so he'll be a free agent. He'll probably go back up
yeah.
somewhere. Let's be honest.
He'll probably go back up where he has the best chance to start.
Which
You
at this
know,
point I don't know where that would be. Maybe the Broncos.
you know what? If Tom Brady retires, I'd go Buccaneers.
Yeah, that would be a great place to go. I think Brady, if the stuff with his family is true, like he's getting a divorce, I think he'll play another year.
Same. You know what? How about this one? San Francisco 49ers.
Wouldn't be a bad spot. Problem is, yeah, no, yeah, that makes sense because Jimmy G will be gone next year because he's on
Yeah.
a 1, and Trey Lance is coming off an injury. So yeah, I mean that makes sense honestly.
Same with the Rams. What about the Ravens? If Lamar Jackson leaves, what do they have at QB? Tyler Huntley. They maybe could trade, but who are they going to trade for? Jimmy Garoppolo? Or I mean, I guess they wouldn't trade for him. they could sign Jimmy Garoppolo, but like, do you really want Jimmy Garoppolo starting for the Ravens?
I
Like,
think
I feel like that offense does not look the
I
best.
think for the Ravens, I think they're gonna franchise tag Lamar if they don't get a deal done, and if he holds out, Tyler Huntley will play because he kind of fits the scheme well. I mean, we've seen it whenever he
Yeah.
got like what 40 points one week in fantasy, back when Lamar
Hmm.
got hurt or something.
Yeah.
So I think Tyler Huntley will be a good backup there. I think it's interesting to see where Baker might go next year. I would
Same.
love to see him back up somewhere where he might have a chance, or just to get like an opportunity to learn from somewhere. Like I could see him as a Buffalo Bill, just backing up Josh Allen.
So I was thinking about that, and the question is, do they think Case Keenum or Baker Mayfield's more reliable?
Case Keenum sucked so bad in preseason. I
He did.
am not a fan of him, just being
Yeah.
honest.
He
But
he
he's a
honestly has
veteran.
not been. Yeah.
I don't know. I like Baker's attitude and stuff. I think he brings a lot of like fire, and I think he fit perfect as a Buffalo Bill.
I thought about the Buffalo Bills, but then I thought about Case Keenum, and I think Case Keenum has a 2-year contract.
Yeah. I don't know.
I
Baker will
think.
go somewhere, and he'll make decent money as a backup.
Honestly, yeah, he could sign almost anywhere as a backup that does not have a reliable backup. But so it'll be interesting to see. Let's see. Yeah, we both got this wrong because of our super pick.
Yeah.
6-4, 5-5. Cardinals Seahawks. Man, was this? I didn't watch this game because I think this game was one of the 305 games, and I was watching the only game that mattered at that time, Bills Chiefs. I don't know what happened in this game. All I know is Cliff Kingsbury. There was problems with his play calling. Seahawks won. Seahawks are 3-3, which what the Rams are now 3-3. 49ers are 3-3. That whole division minus the Cardinals is tied for first.
That's
And
this is
Cardinals,
pre D Hop game.
yeah, and Cardinals go one win next week for for when this was recorded, but 3-4.
Yep.
If Seahawks lose, they'll be 3-4. 49ers lose, they'll be 3-4. Rams aren't playing this week, so they'll be 3-3, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
That's right.
but yeah, both got this wrong. 6-5, 5-6. Unfortunately for you. Bills Chiefs, man, what a great game. What a great game. You know, I liked Tony Romo when he was with the Cowboys. As an announcer, I've loved him. Literally, like the second play, he's like, I think this is going to be one of those 24-20 types of games.
Yeah, that's insane. I love Tony Romo as an announcer. He's
Yeah,
probably
like,
one of my favorites.
I just wish when he was amazing at play, like he's amazing at calling a play. He's like, I bet you they're gonna do a jet sweep this play. They get like 10, 15 yards. Gets like 12 yards. Like, I bet the defense is gonna blitz on this and do this. They do that. I'm like, Tony Romo, why could you have not been this good at expecting stuff when you were the QB of the Cowboys?
Shoot, I mean he could have, but it could have been Jason Garrett's fault.
That's true. You know,
Honestly.
I'm a little surprised no one. I don't know what Tony Romo's contract for announcing is, and maybe he just wants to be an announcer. I could easily see Tony Romo becoming a QB's coach if he gets bored with announcing.
I think he's in a sweet spot with announcing. He's probably I know he's
He,
making good money. I can't remember
oh,
what
and
it
he
is.
and he's probably like the best announcer right now.
Oh yeah, easily, in my opinion.
Yeah. And which there's another guy in here who I think might go to announcing or coaching, but when we get to that game, I'll mention it. But yeah, this was a good game. 5-1 Bills, 4-2 Chiefs. Both of us got that right, luckily. 7-5, 6-6. Eagles Cowboys. This game looks closer on paper. Um, it was very much one-sided for the Eagles. Cowboys had some good things in it. I do think when they play next, the Cowboys will do better if they're healthy. My friend said the Eagles finally exposed Cooper Rush. He's not a starter. I'm like, it's what I've been saying all along. The Cowboys haven't needed to play risky with their QB. This game, they had to play risky with their QB. Not to mention the Eagles have a great defense, or a great secondary. So if you throw a ball, there's a good chance it could get picked.
Uh,
But
Cooper Rush isn't a bad backup at all. The Eagles are just a really good team, and I got to watch a little bit of that game. I mean, honestly, dude, the Eagles, like, I don't know, they're
you
they're
know,
a really good football
you know
team.
when people said the Eagles could win it all going into the season, I laughed, and other people laughed. Granted, I didn't really laugh. I was just like, look, I don't think the Eagles are gonna be it this year.
I was high on them in off season.
Yeah, and but I think my thing is if you look at what they added, they did not add anything that should have made them this great. You know, they added AJ Brown. They re-signed Fletcher Cox, and they didn't do great last year, and they made the playoffs, but they looked pretty bad in the playoffs last year. This year, they're playing so much better than they did last year.
I think the
Um,
key thing with them is their offensive line and defensive line are still extremely good. They added Jordan Davis to switch in with Fletcher Cox. They freed up some money for, I think, is Hassan Reddick still there? Or is he
I
somewhere
don't know.
else? I can't remember
I
if
don't know.
I think he's there. And then they got Kaiser White in free agency, who was a linebacker for the
Yeah, I remember
Chargers,
that
and
signing.
he's played really good this year.
Oh,
Um,
and they got rid of some dead weight on their team as well.
yes, and they got James Bradbury. Signed him for pretty cheap, a veteran corner who's pretty good. Um, and then, I mean, they added a young piece of the O line to switch in and play center or guard. And then adding AJ Brown frees up Devonta Smith. I mean, I don't
Hmm.
know. I think the biggest key thing with them this year is Jalen Hurts has taken a major step.
Yeah. No, that's the thing, is when I was thinking about it, I think the one thing that's shown why they're as good as they are is a lot of their players have made huge improvements. And I think Jalen Hurts, he's proving all the haters wrong. And I wouldn't say the haters wrong. I think he's showing them his improvement. Because the haters weren't wrong about him last year or the year before. He was not a starting QB in the NFL. He is currently playing like a starting QB in the NFL.
Oh yeah.
Um, it'll be very interesting. But I also would say Daniel Jones has made a big step from last year as well.
Yeah, he has.
But so let's see, both got this right. 8-5, 7-6. Broncos Chargers. You know, I think every team plays down to the Broncos. And man, was this a scary game for me because I had like a 24-point lead in fantasy and somehow managed to survive by 0.04 points. That was intense. But Broncos just don't have it. I don't think the Chargers have it either. I could see neither of these teams making the playoffs.
Yeah. I don't know. I was really hopeful that the Chargers would be good this year. Battling a lot of injuries doesn't help, so I don't know how they're gonna do this year. I don't think they're gonna be as good
Yeah.
as I thought.
Oh, and what is it? Keenan Allen's still gonna probably be out this next week. But what is it? The next guy I was gonna talk about, Chase Daniels. I think he has been a high paid backup. And part of it is because how good of a coach he is. He'll call plays occasionally. He'll talk to Justin Herbert almost after every play and talk with him, go over things. I think if Chase Daniels went into coaching, he could be a head coach. Now, he would definitely start out as a QB's coach, maybe move up to offensive coordinator. Question is, does he want to stay at QB coach? So I think he could easily become a QB coach. No questions asked.
Oh yeah, easily.
And from there, he could easily become a head coach. One of my friends, I mentioned that he disagreed. He thinks Chase Daniel, the moment he retires, he's gonna become an announcer somewhere.
Uh,
And I
I don't know much about him. Like, I think he's should probably be in coaching, but I mean, I don't know much about him, like how he'd be personality. So I honestly don't know.
Yeah. And like I said, I know a good bit about Chase Daniel since he went to my high school.
Yeah,
And just I've tried to follow his career,
I think
which
he'd
has
be a great coach. I mean,
yeah.
obviously.
Well, like the thing is there's a reason he's with a bunch of young QBs and why he's perfect with Justin Herbert. And he's still at his age because what he's 38, I think, maybe a
Something
little bit
like
younger.
that.
The fact he's still a backup shows that there's something about him that teams want to keep around. That if they really wanted to keep him, I bet they could. So, and I don't know who the Chargers QB coach is, but I'm sure a team will need a QB's coach at the end of this year. And if Chase Daniels retires at the end of this year, I bet he could get it. Maybe he takes a year off before doing that, but it'll be interesting. And let's see, I think that's our. Let's see, both got this right. 9-5, 8-6, week 6 leaderboards. I am first place in our league, and Hunter, you're fifth.
It's tough.
And poor Tyler went like 3-11, I think. So I gave him the red mark, so showing that he made no improvement. But yeah, that's it for our week 6